Hi, friends! I have another story for us today. Well, more facts about another American symbol. Do you know what American symbol it is? You're right, it's the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty has some pretty awesome facts, like the Liberty Bell. So, let's go ahead and start reading it. If you were in my class when we made our gingerbread man sent us a postcard from the Statue of Liberty, so we already know a little bit about the Statue of Liberty. Let's see what other kind of fun things that we can learn about the statue. Okay. It says, my name is Janetta. I'm a park ranger at the Statue of Liberty National Park in New York City. The Statue of Liberty is an important symbol of freedom. Let me tell you her story. A gift from the French. Did you know that the Statue of Liberty was a gift from the people of France? Oh, yeah. They admired the colony's fight for freedom during the Revolutionary War. They wanted to honor the Declaration of Independence. Remember, that was what was signed on July 4th, and that's why we celebrate July 4th. The gift was France's way of saying, "Good job, America." French soldiers and sailors fought side by side with American troops during the Revolutionary War. Together, they defeated the British and won the war. Hey, that's a pretty cool fact. We need to remember that fact. It was a gift from the French. Making the statue. A French artist named Frederic Auguste Bartholdi drew up plans for the Statue of Liberty in 1874. Workers in France used these big copper sheets, that's metal, copper, for the statue's outside surface or skin. The sheets were about as thick as 2 pennies put together. So imagine putting 2 pennies on top of each other. They'd be about that thick. Workers pounded the copper sheets onto wooden molds. So this is the wooden mold, and then they'd hit the copper and put it on top of the wooden molds. When the Statue of Liberty was first built, she was reddish brown. Can you believe that? She totally was. The color of new copper. But copper changes color when it's left outside. It turns light green or blue. This change in color is called oxidation. Yeah, isn't that cool? So that's what the Statue of Liberty used to look like. And being out in the air, she's now greenish blue. Interesting. Wouldn't it have been cool to see what she looked like back then? Finishing the job. Workers finished the Statue of Liberty 10 years later in 1884. The total cost of the project was $250,000. That's a lot of money. But once the statue was put together, workers had to take her apart again. She was much too big to travel across the ocean in one piece. Oh my goodness, so they put her together, then they took her apart so that they could travel all the way to the United States. Okay, look how cool this page is. This has a lot of facts on it. Her index finger is 8 feet long, so taller than a person, just her finger. Isn't that cool? Her hands are 16 and a half feet long, about the length of a canoe. That's humongous. Her eyes are 2.5 feet across. So it's like 2 of our feet put together. Her nose is 4.5 feet long. Her fingernails are 13 inches long and 10 inches wide, just a bit bigger than the book you're holding right now. That's a pretty big fingernail, huh? Her feet are 25 feet long. Holy moly, those are some big feet. One big statue. How big is the Statue of Liberty? She stands 305 feet tall. Ooh, that's a good fact to remember. 305 feet tall. From the bottom of the pedestal all the way up to the top of the torch. She's about as tall as 30-story building. That's why workers had to take her apart for her trip from France to the United States. Because you can't put a 30-story building, that means it has 30 floors, like a huge building, onto a ship. You gotta break that up, huh? Oh, pretty cool. The pedestal. French workers built the Statue of Liberty, but U.S. workers had to build her pedestal. This is the pedestal, what she stands on. She needed a base to keep her steady when it was bad weather outside. Building the pedestal was going to cost a lot of money. Thankfully, a newspaperman named Joseph Pulitzer helped raise the funds needed. People from all over the United States gave whatever money they could to help the pedestal project. So that's why they have all these letters. People were writing letters and giving money so that we could build a pedestal. Packed in boxes, the Statue of Liberty sailed into New York Harbor in 1885. Her pedestal was finished in April of 1886, so they weren't done with her pedestal yet. Workers then spent 4 months putting her back together. It took 4 months to put her back together from all of her pieces. On October 28, 1886, President Grover Cleveland officially accepted the Statue of Liberty. Thousands of Americans were there to celebrate France's gift. The Statue of Liberty was packed in 214 different wooden boxes or crates for her trip from France to the United States. 214 different wooden boxes. That's so many. Oh. Between 1892 and 1954, 12 million immigrants came to the United States through New York Harbor. They came from all over the world on large boats looking for a new place to live. The Statue of Liberty was one of the first things they saw upon arriving. Most immigrants, now wait, do we know what immigrants are? Let's just think about it for a second. What's an immigrant? Some of you are immigrants. A lot of our family members are immigrants. Some of your family members might have even come in on a ship to Ellis Island. Okay, so an immigrant is someone who travels from one country to live into another country. So if you're from another country and you have immigrated to the United States, that means you're here in a new country and you've moved. Well, I didn't do that because I was born here, but my family long time ago immigrated from all over in Europe all the way to the United States. So if you were born here in the United States, your family still immigrated, even though it was a long time ago. It might have been. Or it might just be recent. Some of you might have been born in a new country or a different country and moved to the United States. That's what an immigrant is. Pretty cool. So it says most immigrants who came through New York after 1892 stopped first at Ellis Island. There, they were signed in and checked by doctors. Ellis Island lies near the Statue of Liberty. So they'd come in and they'd see that awesome statue. That would be pretty awesome. Many immigrants came from countries where they could not buy land. Most could not go to school. These rights and many others were only for people who were very rich. That's not fair, is it? In the United States, almost anyone can own land and go to school. The Statue of Liberty is a symbol of these freedoms. She tells the world that the United States is a free country. That's why we call her the Statue of Liberty, because remember, liberty means freedom. The Statue of Freedom. What do the Statue of Liberty's symbols stand for? The burning torch, let's see, right here, stands for truth. Ooh, these are some good facts. Liberty's crown has 7 points. Each point stands for one of the world's 7 oceans. It also stands for one of the Earth's 7 continents or land masses. The tablet, which is like the book that she's holding, looks like a book, is a symbol of the laws of the United States. The date on the tablet says July 4th, 1776, because it is a symbol of the day the Declaration of Independence was approved. The broken chains or shackles that lie at Liberty's feet are a symbol of freedom. The Statue of Liberty is much more than a pretty face. She stands for one of the United States' greatest gifts, freedom. Maybe you can come to New York City soon and visit us. We look forward to seeing you. Okay, now here are some more facts in the back of the book. This book was full of facts today, so many interesting things. The Statue of Liberty stands on Liberty Island in New York Harbor. Visitors can reach her only by ferry. That's a special kind of boat. So she has her own island. You have to get there by boat. It took nearly 30 years for the Statue of Liberty's copper to oxidize. That means turn from that reddish brown color to green. So it took 30 years for it to do that. That's crazy. There are 354 stairs from the bottom of the pedestal to the Statue of Liberty's crown. So did you know you can actually travel all the way up to the crown, and the crown is windows. You can look out the windows of her crown. Isn't that cool? All right, so that's pretty awesome. I learned some fun facts. Now, I want you to listen to your teacher and see if you can remember any of those fun facts to write about. All right, friends, see you next time. Bye.